Hello everyone, welcome to another informative episode on White Davy Gardening and Worm Farm. Today I will be starting a new worm bin that I'm going to be using for my experiment. So here I have some wet newspaper that is shredded, and I'm going to be taking 100 eggs from here and putting it in here. Then I'm going to be transferring it into one of my experimental bins, and I'm going to be seeing how long it takes for these eggs to hatch. When I'm sifting out these castings in the garage, I don't really see the worms that are falling through the sift, but now that I have it in the sun, I am seeing quite a few worms. But I will be using my extraction method to get them out eventually. Anyway, let's get on with collecting those 100 eggs. They are so tiny and delicate. This one is yellow. It seems a bit orange on the camera, but it is actually yellow. The orange color ones are actually pretty close to being hatched. I am looking forward to the result of this experiment. It is one that I have done in the past, but I like to do more than one of the same experiment. Let's see, I've got 6 of them in there. I like to do more than one of the same experiment to see how the result varies, if it does, and then I'll be in a better position to draw more conclusive I'll be able to draw a better conclusion as to the result of the experiment. As soon as these eggs hatch, they turn brown. They are yellow when they're first laid, then they change to orange color when they're close to being hatched, and then they're brown after they are hatched. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So every 10 that I gather, then I will put them in here so that I don't get confused. Okay, 10. So different persons say worm eggs take different times to hatch, so I guess the whole process depends on several factors like temperature, your moisture content, food supply. All those things affect whether or not your eggs hatch quickly or take long to hatch. In fact, a worm egg can last up to 3 years without hatching if the condition is not right. So you want to make sure that if you're trying to increase your worm population quickly, then you have to try to give these eggs the right conditions so that they can hatch. This one is very big. I think that's the biggest Redwiggler egg I've ever seen. 20. Now we call these things the eggs, but the truth is that this is not really the worm egg, this is the worm cocoon, and the worm cocoon can have several eggs in it, and it is said that you can get up to 20 worms out of one cocoon. I think that one is hatched already. Can you see this one here? How tiny it is. The size of your egg also depend on the condition in your worm bin. It depends on the size of your worms. It also depends on the age of your worms. So smaller worms naturally would lay smaller eggs, and the larger worms or the older worms would lay larger eggs. I have never witnessed one of my own worm egg hatching. That would be a delight for me. It is something I am really looking forward to. I've seen videos of other people's worms laying eggs hatching, but I'm yet to witness it for myself. That's 30. Now if I put 100 worm eggs in here, or cocoons in here, I am going to see not only how long it takes for it to hatch, but I also want to see how many hatchlings I'm gonna get from these 100 eggs. And based on the result, then I will be able to calculate how much worms can reproduce within a certain time period. Like, for example, we constantly hear expressions like your worm can double their population within 3 months, but that is on the extremely low side. In fact, worms, it is said that they can multiply themselves 28 times within 3 months. But that depends on the condition that the worms are living in, and that is something that I believe as well. And the reason I believe it is because of the result that I've had with the very first set of worms that I got when I just started my worm bin, because that was in the summer, just at the start of summer a few years ago. And the lady I got it from said that they would double within 3 months. But when I took my worms out from the compost bin, because I didn't put them in a worm bin, I put them in my compost bin outdoors, And when I took the worms out to overwinter them, I had 20 times the amount that I bought, and it wasn't yet 3 months, it was 2.5 months, and I had 20 times the amount that I bought. And that does not include the tiny hatchlings. So based on that, I do believe the statistics that say they can go up to 28 times their number in 3 months. So if you are someone who has space for a lot of worms and you would like to have a lot of worms, experiments like these and their conclusion can help you to decide how many worms you want to start off with and how fast you want your worm farm to grow. So all you have to do is make sure that you monitor the conditions that your worms live in. That's 50. Some of these eggs are so tiny. It's unbelievable how tiny they can be. And because these eggs can be so tiny, that is why the 1/8 hardware cloth does not necessarily sift them out, because all of this that I have here already went through that 1/8 hardware cloth, and yet still they are here in the sifted castings. I'm just taking out the worms as I see them and put them back over into the unsifted material. That's 60. Oh. Oh, where did it go? No, I can't believe I lost it. That was my chance to see an egg actually hatching. Oh my goodness, but it fell. I can't believe that. I'm so disappointed. My very first chance, I could see part of the worm sticking out, and I dropped it. Huh, I could beat myself. No, I'm afraid to go through here in case I crush it. I really can't believe I dropped it. Oh well, I guess I'll get another chance, I hope. I've got one in my hand that is orange. It is slightly deflated. I can see that it still has liquid in it, but based on how it is looking, I'm assuming that it is getting ready to hatch. I don't know how long that process takes for them to actually hatch. It's so interesting to see. I think I've almost extracted all the worms from the eggs from this portion of material. So I'm going to be sifting a bit more so that I can bring my number up to 100 eggs. I need one more to bring it up to 80. Come on, just one more head. I know you're in there. Just hiding away from me. One tiny one, so that's 80. I need 20 more eggs. So what I'm going to do is sift a bit more castings and try to find the 20 eggs. Okay, let's find those 20 eggs that I need. Oh my goodness, that's another one that's hatching, that last one that I just took up. But the funny thing is, as soon as you touch them, they just pull right back into the egg. So that's the third one so far that I touched today, and they just pull themselves back into the egg and decided not to bother come out. Okay, so now I'm in need of 10 more and I'll be able to start my experiment. So based on my observation so far with these worm eggs, not only do they change color when they are close to being hatched, even the shape of the egg changes. So their cocoon is oval in shape, but as it approaches the time when it's about to hatch, it tends to get pointy to the side where the hatchling is going to emerge from. I'm watching one at the moment, but I think because I disturb it, he doesn't want to come out. I can't believe I get to see so many of them about to hatch today. It's like I'm having a lovely field trip. Exciting one. Okay, so now I have got my 100 eggs. I'm just gonna cover them over and let them stay for a while. Then I'm going to start the experiment with them. So all I'm going to be doing is just creating a regular worm bin. Now, as you know, this is the sifted castings, and you've seen how many eggs I've taken out of it. So, and this portion here still has a lot. Let's see, can you see that one on my tip? Can you see that little tiny white worm right there trying to come out? He's not moving because I touched him, but he's partially out of the egg. So that's the fourth one I get to see today. One day when I have the time, I will actually sit down and spend the time, however long it takes to watch the whole process. Unfortunately, I am running out of time to sift out the castings from this compost bin, so I can't really sit down to watch it entirely. So what I'm going to be doing with this casting all of the casting that I'm harvesting, is that I'm going to keep it moist for 6 weeks. And the purpose of that is to ensure that the eggs in it hatch, because it takes anything from 2 to 6 weeks or 3 to 6 weeks for them to hatch. That's not correct. It takes between 3 and 5 weeks for them to hatch. And I allow another extra week just so that the eggs that are on the younger side, like they were laid today or a few days ago, will have more than enough time to hatch. Then after the 6 weeks, I am going to get a container with food scraps and holes in it, and then I'm going to be putting it in this finished castings, in each of the containers with finished castings. That way it will attract the hatchlings, and as they come into that container to feed, then I will be able to extract them. I don't like to sell my castings right after I've harvested it. I like to give it at least 2 months so that I can properly extract as many of these hatchlings as I can. Okay, so that is what I am up to for today. Did you enjoy this video? Did you find it informative? If you do, why not take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and turn on your notification for more informative videos like these. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have yourself a wonderful day.